Good day, class. I hope you're having a good day ahead. So, for our lesson this morning or afternoon, we will be discussing the Unit 7 energy sources. So, we will focus, of course, mainly in how we use energy, how we harvest energy, and how can we conserve energy. Because yung paggamit natin ng kuryente or ng energy itself is affecting as well the status of our environment. So, kumbaga, in this subject, tinitingnan natin in all areas kung ano yung mga consumption natin na nakaka-apekto sa environment. And definitely, yung paggamit natin ng kuryente has a big effect on our environment. So, this will be our topic for today. Energy sources, the next generation of energy use. So for our learning objectives, we will define what energy is, discuss different sources of energy, explain the importance of renewable energy, discuss different causes and potential effects of energy crisis in the industry, and enumerate ways of sustainable use of energy. Dito sa fourth objective, of course, you will focus on your industry. So let us define first what is energy. So energy is the ability to do work, and energy also has the capability to be converted or transformed from one form into another. So ibig sabihin, yung kinetic energy, yung potential energy, as well as the chemical energy, lahat yan ay iba't ibang forms lang ng energy, including electrical energy. So, we have a lot of different forms of energy. And tulad nga ng sabi kanina, energy can be transformed into another form. Halimbawa, yung chemical energy ay pwede siyang maging electrical energy. So, depende siya sa kung ano yung gamit or ano yung appropriateness ng energy and kung saan siya gagamitin. So, at the same time, energy varies depende sa kung ano yung way natin ng pag-harvest sa kanya. Kasi, we can harvest energy even through moving. So, kapag yung isang object ay gumagalaw, halimbawa yung sa mga windmills, umiikot yung turbine. So, or yung parang LSC ng windmill. So, that is already gaining kinetic energy. Nata-transform siya into electrical energy. So, yun yung idea natin ng energy. Okay? And this, kumbaga, concept of energy transformation is based on the law of conservation of energy. Wherein, I think nabanggit ko na ito doon sa una nating lesson. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It can only be converted from one form of energy to another. So, yung law of conservation of energy simply says na yung isang klase ng energy, hindi siya totally nawawala para maging ganitong klase ng energy. But instead, it just transformed. No-convert lang siya into another form. Ano po? So, kumbaga, walang nawawala. It is conserved. So, halimbawa, yung chemical energy na present sa battery that is being converted into electrical energy, yun yung mga dumadaan na energy sa wire, sa loob ng flashlight, and yung ilaw na na-produce ng flashlight is light energy. So, yun yung idea natin, of the law of conservation of energy. Hindi yan totally na kapag sabihin natin, ubos na yung battery, wala nang energy. Meron pa rin. Nag-convert lang siya into another form. So, let's proceed with the sources of energy. So, there are many different sources of energy, but they can all be divided into two categories only. We have renewable energy and non-renewable energy source. Yung primary energy sources take many forms, including nuclear energy, fossil energy such as oil, coal, and natural gas. and renewable sources like wind, solar, geothermal, and hydropower. So yung primary sources of energy are being converted into electricity, a secondary energy source which flows through power lines and other transmission infrastructure to your home and businesses. Ibig sabihin, class, hindi po kuryente agad yung naka-harvest natin. Halimbawa, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung solar energy, hindi naman kuryente agad or electricity agad yung nakukuha natin doon sa solar panel, kundi init muna. Solar energy muna siya, ang naka-harvest ng solar panel, and mag-undergo siya ng process para siya ay maging kuryente. That's the same thing with hydropower or geothermal. Hindi naman agad kuryente yung nakukuha natin, pero init muna yan. Okay? Because heat is also a form of energy. So, init muna yung nakukuha natin, o kaya kinetic energy muna, bago siya maging electricity. Kaya tinatawag po na ang electricity ay isang secondary energy. Let's highlight secondary energy sa nakita. Ayan. So, yan yung halimbawa natin ng renewable energy. Simple, ang idea natin ng renewable energy ay, kumbaga, may pag-unlimited yung concept niya. We can get or we can harvest that kind of energy multiple times so long as andun yung source, present yung source. Pero pag non-renewable energy, may limit. Halimbawa, yung nuclear energy. Pag natapos na yung chemical reaction, fusion or fission of atoms, wala na ding nuclear energy. Mauubos na siya. Same thing with coal. So, yung coal, kapag ginamit mo siya to produce energy, nauubos siya, 'di ba? May nagiging abo siya, yung byproduct. So, non-renewable. Kukuha ka na naman, magsusunog ka na naman ng kahoy or ng other resources para maging coal. So, again, hindi siya renewable. Unlike solar energy, so long as andyan yung sun, tas may solar panel ka lang, talagang continuous yung supply mo. Unlimited siya. Same thing with wind energy. Dahil parating namang may hangin, so parating may magkukos ng movement nung parang LSC ng windmill. So, parating mayroong wind energy. Same thing with geothermal energy. Since hindi naman nawawala yung magma sa ilalim ng lupa, parating may source of geothermal energy. So, yun yung mga halimbawa natin ng renewable energy sources. So, just take note of these differences. Yung mga description, kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So, let us proceed now. Isa-isahin natin kung ano yung iba't ibang sources of energy na meron tayo globally. So, energy comes from a variety of sources, both natural and human-made, and can be classified into renewable and non-renewable sources. Each source plays a significant role in meeting the energy needs of the world. Below are the primary types. So, meron tayong, again, non-renewable energy source, renewable energy source, at other emerging energy sources. Kasi with the technology that we are having now, class, marami nang nag-emerge na energy sources. However, we cannot really categorize it yet as a non-renewable or a renewable energy source. Kasi, yung idea halimbawa nung sa hydrogen, it is somewhat a renewable energy source. However, sobrang haba ng proseso para siya ay maging renewable. So, there could be some instances na non-renewable siya. Pero yun, hindi siya classified into these two. Kaya siya tinawag or nilagay as other emerging energy source. Lalong-lalo na recent lang siya. So, umpisahan natin yung non-renewable energy sources. So, these sources are finite. Ibig sabihin may katapusan lang yung sources natin nito. and will eventually be depleted. They have been formed over millions of years and cannot be replenished on a human time scale. Unang-una ang fossil fuels. Under ng fossil fuels yung coal, oil, and natural gas. If you are familiar with how the continents were formed, kung babalikan natin yung concept ng continental drift theory, that theory, though it's just a theory, yun ay nag-emerge or na-discover or kumbaga, nag-emerge or happened millions of years ago. So, yung presence ng coal, oil, and natural gas is hindi siya pwedeng mabuo in a decade or in a century. It requires millions or thousands of years para magkaroon ulit ng coal sa mga lupa natin. And these are harvested underground. Ito yung isa sa mga minimina. This is because yung pagkakaroon ng coal, halimbawa na lang, is done, or yung pagkakaroon ng coal happens kapag nagkakaroon din ng layering sa lupa natin or sa rocks. So, and again, hindi siya pwedeng mangyari lang by in a 10-year span o kaya naman 100 years. Kailangan, sobrang tagal niya para magkaroon tayo nitong mga fossil fuels natin. So, next is, isa-isahin muna pala natin, yung coal, oil, and natural gas. So, yung coal, ang isa sa primary used electricity generation and ginagamit siya sa industrial processes. Next ang oil or petroleum. These are liquid fossil fuel used in transportation, heating, and manufacturing. Nakukuha din ito class underground. And natural gas, a cleaner burning fossil fuel used for heating, electricity generation, and as industrial feedstock. Next is nuclear energy. Ito naman ay nakukuha siya due to nuclear fission by the splitting of atoms of heavy elements like uranium. So, yung nuclear energy sana class, maganda itong energy source. However, delikado lang siya kasi mayroong radiation na byproduct which can be harmful sa mga nakatira sa paligid. At the same time, delikado siya dahil may potential siya na magkaroon ng or mag-cause ng explosion. Kasi nga, may chemical reaction. Though meron naman chemical reaction sa ibang ways of harvesting energy, pero ito kasi, yung pinaka-main process of harvesting energy is chemical reaction. Kaya hindi na siya advisable, or kung walang proper maintenance, proper plan for building a nuclear power plant, hindi na talaga siya pinapayagan. Next, punta na tayo sa global use of fossil fuels. So, yung fossil fuels actually is yung main source natin of energy. As you can see, out of the different types of fossil fuels, yung petroleum products, yung pinaka mataas nating consumption ng fossil fuels, followed by coal and natural gas. Konting-konti lang yung renewables and nuclear. Imagine yung renewables natin dito ay 14.1% lamang. Pero yung natural resources natin, yung renewable energy sources natin, parati namang andyan. So later, pag-uusapan natin bakit ba hindi tayo nag-shift into renewables. What hinders the industry to shift into renewable energy and patuloy na harvest ng energy through non-renewable. And yon, yung world electricity generation naman ay highly dependent on gas and coal. Kung makikita ninyo, itong nasa lower part na ito. And yung hydroelectric lang ay a renewable energy source ay konting porsyento lang. Mas madami pa rin yung fossil fuels compared sa renewable or sa clean energy harvesting. You can see this data class sa World Bank website. I think na ilagay ko naman yung reference dito sa PowerPoint na to. So another graph shows the burning of fossil fuels for energy began around the Industrial Revolution. Take note of that. Yung fossil fuels kasi sobrang, kumbaga, laki ng part niya when it comes to transportation, infrastructure. That is why nung nagkaroon ng Industrial Revolution or yung Industrial 3.0 or I think 2.0, naging mataas din yung demand for gas, oil, and coal. Kasi nga, siya yung isa sa mga, or yung tatlo sa mga pinakagamit na energy during the Industrial Revolution. But fossil fuels consumption has changed in terms of what and how much we burn. So, fossil fuel consumption has increased around 8-fold since 1950 and roughly doubling since 1980. What more ngayon? Ano na lang kaya yung fossil fuel consumption natin at presently? Lalong-lalo na mas madami na yung demand for transportation, infrastructure, and industry. Kumbaga, hindi man natin totally, kasi yung fossil fuel consumption class, it includes burning. And kapag merong burning or merong combustion, merong carbon dioxide na napoproduce. Kaya siya class harmful sa ating environment. So regardless of that need, no, wala kasing proper regulation on the use of fossil fuels, kaya nagiging harmful siya. Pero kailangan naman talaga kasi natin yung paggamit ng fossil fuel. Lalong-lalo na, yun yung madaling paraan ng pag-harvest ng energy compared sa mga renewable energy sources. I think kapag-uusapan pa naman natin yan later sa mga susunod nating slides. So, punta naman tayo sa context ng energy consumption sa Philippines. So, as of 2023, the Philippines' primary energy consumption was approximately 2.19 exajoules with fossil fuels, mainly oil and coal, constituting a significant portion. Oil consumption was about 0.93 exajoules and coal consumption was around 0.88 exajoules in terms of electricity generation. Coal-fired power plants accounted for 61.92% of the country's electricity in 2023, marking the 15th consecutive year of increased coal reliance. Despite efforts to increase renewable energy utilization, fossil fuels continue to supply about 80% of the Philippines' energy needs. So dito, yung Casoreco 4, this is somewhere in Partido area. Camarines Sur 4 Electric Cooperative Incorporated, or Casoreco 4, is actively integrating renewable energy sources into its power supply. The cooperative has entered into renewable energy supply agreements, particularly focusing on hydroelectric power to diversify its energy mix by harnessing renewable energy sources like hydro and solar power. Casoreco 4 aims to decrease its reliance on fossil fuels, thereby enhancing energy security and contributing to environmental sustainability. So, bago ko i-discuss class yung renewable energy sources, pag-usapan na natin, bakit hindi tayo nag-shift globally sa renewable energy and tinatangkilik pa rin natin yung non-renewable energy harvesting. Yung non-renewable energy harvesting kasi class is mas madali and mas mura. Mas madali yung pag-harvest ng energy at the same time, mas mura siya compared kung mag-shift tayo into renewable energy source or renewable energy harvesting. Ang daming proseso, ang daming kailangang kumbaga gawin para lang simula ng solar power plant, hydrothermal power plant, or geothermal power plant. And siguro kung i-compare natin yung nakukuha nating energy, mas madami yung convert na electrical energy ng mga non-renewable compared sa renewable. So, kumbaga, since ito yung mas madali, so dun tayo. Parang ganun yung naging mindset. And lalong-lalo na class, nung nagsimula ang Industrial Revolution in the 1950s, 1960s, wala pa naman tayong mga kagamitan or wala pa namang kumbagang enough na assistance, support para magkaroon ng renewable energy sources. Halos lahat talaga class ng pinagkukunan natin ng energy ay non-renewable. Yung coal, oil, and natural gas. Yun yung naunang nag-emerge na energy sources. Wala pa yung solar, wala pa yung other sources. So, yun yung kumbaga rason kung bakit hindi agad tayo makapag-shift. Kumbaga magiging sayang yung investment, yung mga present na energy sources, yung mga kagamitan for that, kung mag-shift for renewable and hindi na yan gagamitin. Kaya, yun, still, marami pa rin yung tumatangkilik sa non-renewable energy harvesting. However, yun nga, yung Casoreco 4, which is somewhere in Tigaon, I think Goa is Casoreco 4, Lagunoy, Sangay, somewhere there, Partido area, ay may mga ginagawa na sila na actions that makes them capable of harvesting energy through hydroelectric power, geothermal power. Sa Philippines sana class, sobrang ganda sana na tayo ay mag-shift into renewable energy sources. Why? The Philippines is located near or at the equator. So, ibig sabihin, nakaka-receive tayo ng mataas na concentration ng sunlight. And maganda sana siya, kasi if maglalagay tayo ng solar power plant, so ma-direct yung tama sa atin ng sunlight. So, marami tayong maka-harvest na solar energy. Another, tayo ay nasa Pacific Ring of Fire. Pag ang isang bansa or ang isang lugar ay nasa Pacific Ring of Fire, madami diyang active volcanoes, at the same time, mga hydrothermal vents. And ito class, yung nagiging source natin ng geothermal and hydrothermal energy. So, kumbaga, if pag-uusapan lang naman natin yung natural resources, talagang sobrang rich ng natural resources ng Pilipinas. However, yun nga, hindi natin siya na-maximize. Imagine kung ilang active volcanoes yung meron tayo. And hindi lang naman active volcanoes yung pwedeng provide ng geothermal power. Even yung Mount Isarog, that is a dormant volcano, hindi siya active. Meron pa rin diyang mga geothermal sites na pwede nating pagkunan or pag-harvestan ng electricity. Same with hydrothermal. Also, if naisip ko lang, since yung Pilipinas ay isang archipelago na mapalibutan tayo ng tubig, pwede din tayong mag-shift sa balikan natin lang yung forms of energy. Wave energy. Yung pag-harvest ng energy through waves. So, since tayo ay nasa isang archipelago, or ang Pilipinas ay isang archipelago na palibutan tayo ng tubig. So, if sana yung na-maximize natin yung mga natural resources natin, then we can definitely shift into renewable energy. However, class, talagang magastos, madaming prosesong kailangan pagdaanan para lang makasimula ng mga ganitong renewable power plants. So, isa-isahin na natin class yung mga renewable energy sources na meron ang or na meron tayo or discovered na renewable energy sources na pwede nating gawin. So first, we have the solar energy, which is definitely coming from the sunlight. This is through harnessing energy using photovoltaic or PV panels or solar thermal collectors. Next is wind energy, generated using wind turbines. Hydropower, generated by the movement of water through dams or rivers. Geothermal energy, extracted from heat stored beneath the Earth's surface. Biomass, produced from organic materials like wood, crop waste, and animal manure. And tidal and wave energy, harnessed from ocean, tides, and waves. So, meron ako dito class pictures nung mga nakuha kong solar power plants na meron tayo sa Pilipinas. However, hindi sila nag-load. So, I will just send the link, yung reference ko nito, kung saan or ano yung itsura ng mga solar power plants dito sa Pilipinas. So, meron tayo sa Calatagan, Batangas, Negros Occidental, and Cebu, Toledo, Cebu. Dito sa Bicol, meron tayo sa under Casureco sa Calabanga, Camarines Sur, na I think kakatayo lang last year. Natapos lang yung pagtayo sa kanya last year, and pero hindi ko alam kung operating na siya. So meron doong solar power plant na tinayo to aid the Casureco in providing electricity, I think, for residential use siya. So, magandang initiative na yun. Also, wind power plant. So, alam naman natin, Ilocos Norte, yung pinaka kilalang mga wind power plants. Halos lahat, Ilocos Norte. Iba-iba lang yung mga wind farm na to. Meron tayong Bangi Wind Farm, Burgos Wind Farm, and Pisan Wind Farm, all situated in Ilocos Norte. Next is hydropower plants. We have one in Ifugao and Isabela provinces, the Magat Hydroelectric Power Plant, Benguet, Ambuklaw Hydroelectric Power Plant, and also in Benguet, the Binga Hydroelectric Power Plant. Next is the geothermal power plants. Meron tayo sa Tiwi Albay, the Tiwi Geothermal Power Plant, and in Laguna and Batangas, the Makiling Banahaw Power Plant. So, as you can see, yung Tiwi, of course, definitely malapit ito sa Mayon, yung power plant na to. And yung Mount Banahaw and Makiling, the Macban Geothermal Power Plant. Located din siya sa mga bundok. So, next, the biomass power plants. Yung biomass power plants pala, class, gumagamit siya ng organic material, such as yung mga dumi ng hayop, yung mga food waste. Yun yung ginagamit sa biomass power plants. Ginagamit nila yung organic matter to produce electricity. Meron tayo sa Negros Occidental, the San Carlos Biopower. Pero kung makikita ninyo, sobrang liit ng na-generate niyang electricity. 20 to 25 megawatts lamang. I think this is just enough to power an establishment. But I don't think it can, or enough siya to power an entire community, a residential area. So, we have 2 in Negros Occidental and 1 in Isabela. So, ito yung gamit ng Pilipinas pagdating sa energy. Pero hindi lang ito yung renewable class. This is in general. Ano yung gamit ng, or ano yung percentage ng mga energy sources natin, or yung consumption natin ng energy. So, coal, we have coal as the largest energy source, 36.62%, followed by natural gas, which is 25.45%. Ayan. So, kung titingnan natin, if you will try to analyze halos two-thirds ng pie chart na to ay non-renewable, and only one-third, such as the geothermal, hydropower, and other renewables lamang ang renewable energy source. So tayo ay highly dependent pa rin sa non-renewable energy source despite na sobrang laki ng potential natin for renewable energy since we have a lot of natural resources, still hindi pa rin natin siya na ma-maximize. So, this is how we harvest energy from solar panel. So, madami kasi sa class talagang proseso. And kailangan talaga ng investment para lamang makapag-generate ka ng energy through renewable energy sources. Same with the biomass power plant. And yan. Yung itsura ng mga power plants na meron tayo sa Pilipinas. Hindi ko na natin focusan kung paano mag-harvest. Kasi, kumbaga, it will just prolong our lecture and it will be very technical na. Pero kung makikita ninyo, talagang madami siyang proseso. Ang kailangan talaga ay may malaki siyang may malaki siyang facility. So, punta naman tayo sa pangatlo, yung emerging and alternative energy sources. Ito naman, focus na ito class sa clean energy. We have one, hydrogen energy, used as a clean fuel when extracted via electrolysis using renewable energy. So ito yung pag-produce or yung pamamaraan ng pag-produce ng hydrogen gas. Okay? This can be done through biomass or with biomass, even electrolysis yon. So nakakapag-produce siya ng hydrogen gas which can be a clean fuel. Also, synthetic fuels. These are made from coal, natural gas, or biomass, pero walang combustion na nagaganap. Electrolysis din ito. Kumbaga, imbis na since kapag combustion or kapag sinusunog natin yung natural gas or coal, nagkakaroon ng carbon dioxide which is harmful to our environment, imbis na sunugin, magkakandak na lang or gagawin na lang electrolysis yung proseso para walang byproduct ng carbon dioxide. So, still, clean energy pa rin siya. So, ito, yung hydrogen energy. So, ano ba yung benefits of renewable energy sources? Of course, madami. So, una, environmental benefits. Of course, mababawasan yung greenhouse gas emissions. Mababawasan yung toxic gases na meron tayo sa ating atmosphere. Mababawasan din yung air pollution kasi kokonti yung pollutants na nakaka-destroy ng air quality na meron tayo ngayon. At it can preserve ecosystem since, again, it will be, kumbaga, a healthier option for our environment. Next is economic advantages. This can, since madami yung proseso niya, no? Madami yung proseso of creating or of harvesting renewable energy, magpo-produce siya ng trabaho. Makakapag-provide siya ng trabaho sa mga tao for installation, maintenance, manufacturing, or research. Also, cost savings. Malaki lang talaga class yung investment. However, if quality yung pagkakagawa at ma-maintain siya ng maayos and it is being assured na long-term yung gamit sa kanya, makakatipid ka pa rin. Kumbaga, mag-i-invest ka lang talaga ng malaki. Next is localized energy production. Decentralized systems reduce transmission losses, and bring energy to remote areas, fostering regional development. Halimbawa, yung mga taga-coastal area or mga nasa isolated islands, hindi na nila kailangan na or hindi na sila magsasuffer dahil walang kawad ng kuryente, walang power line, ay hindi na sila magkakaroon ng kuryente. Pero kung mayroong solar power plant doon sa area, mayroong wave or tidal energy power plant or energy source, still, magkakaroon pa rin sila ng access to electricity. Also, energy security and independence. We will reduce our reliance to fossil fuels na meron lang limitation. And also, this is abundant and sustainable since again, that is renewable. Also, public health improvement. So, there will be cleaner air and water as well as magkakaroon or magiging konti yung risk natin to diseases or illnesses. Kasi nga, healthier na yung ating environment kapag tayo ay nag-shift into renewable energy source. Also, it can help mitigate climate change because renewable energy supports for global goals. If matatandaan ninyo yung Sustainable Development Goals, papasok yan doon sa I think renewable energy, SDG about renewable energy and climate action. Also, magkakaroon tayo ng accessibility and equity since again, magiging for all yung energy. Hindi na lang siya sa mga lugar na kayang malagyan ng poste tapos ng power line. Pati yung mga nasa isolated coastal areas ay magkakaroon din ng access sa electricity. Sustainability, of course, again, this is long-term. And technological advancement. Magkakaroon tayo ng, kumbaga, drive to innovate, and to develop, discover more about how can we make these equipments more durable o kaya mas efficient yung paggamit sa kanya. So, it aims or it directs us for technological advancement as well. So, our universe is a sea of energy. Free, clean energy. It is all out there waiting for us to set sail upon it. This is very true to the Philippines. Sabi ko nga kanina, yung Pilipinas ay sobrang fit for renewable energy harvesting or harnessing. Kasi nga, tayo ay isang archipelago. So, papalibutan tayo ng tubig. Tayo ay nasa equator. So, we receive a high concentration of sunlight. And tayo ay nasa Pacific Ring of Fire. Marami sa tayong geothermal site sana. However, hindi natin siya na-maximize sa hindi ko malaman na dahilan. So, we hope that still, since we are facing a lot of concerns in our environment, sana ay makapag-isip na ng paraan, or makapag-shift tayo into renewable para at least, 'di ba, ma-lessen, ma-mitigate natin yung climate change. And of course, ma-maximize natin yung resources na meron tayo. Kaya na lang tayo pinag-aagawan, kaya na lang tayo inaagawan ng teritoryo. Kasi nakikita nila yung potential ng Pilipinas na hindi man lang natin ma-maximize. So, I will just post this question sa ating Google Classroom. However, magdadagdag ako ng question. So, just wait with the post na ilalagay ko sa Google Classroom. So, yan. I expect this question to be in our Google Classroom. So, yan. Current relevance and potential future energy shortages. So, ito class yung, kumbaga, forecast. Kung ano yung mga dapat nating gawin in the future dahil ito yung mga pwedeng mangyari in the future. So, since dumadami yung population, nagde-develop yung ating industry, there is a rising global demand when it comes to energy. Also, yung fossil fuels natin ay nade-deplete. Climate change is worsening. So, we need for energy infrastructure. We need to practice energy conservation and efficiency. Also, to diversify our energy sources and invest in research and development para magawa natin ng paraan yung future energy shortages. So, ayan. Yan, effects of energy crisis. So, siguro hindi naman, or kahit hindi natin talaga isa-isahin, no, I believe you are aware of the possible scenarios na pwedeng mangyari sa atin kapag naka-experience tayo ng energy crisis. Because, of course, highly reliant na tayo sa energy. Halimbawa na lamang sa simpleng pag-update natin sa ating mga magulang kung nasaan tayo, kailangan natin ng energy. 'Di ba? Chemical energy ng ating cellphone. So, if walang energy, then definitely we will not have power to, or energy to power our cellphones. Sa pagluluto, sa transportation, kailangan natin yung energy. So, there is an alarming effect kapag nagkaroon tayo, or an alarming state kapag nagkaroon tayo ng energy crisis. So, there has to be a mitigation or mitigating actions that requires proactive policies, technological innovation, and international cooperation. So, as an additional asynchronous task, kindly list the ways or solutions to mitigate energy crisis. You are free to search, but yeah, free to search the different sources that you can find in the internet. Tas next meeting, again, magkakaroon pa rin naman tayo ng quick recap para still magkaroon pa rin tayo ng discussion. I will be asking you your answers here in this activity. Ayan. Ano ba to? Nagka-shuffle ata eh. So, ito na lang, sustainable use of energy. Iba naman. So, let me just discuss this briefly. So, 9 tips on how to reduce my energy consumption for lighting. Dito ay sa paggamit lang ng ilaw, okay? So, of course, always switch off the light when not in use. Place movement detectors para magkakaroon lang ng light kapag merong motion. Regularly dust lamps and fittings. That is very important. Use bright colored walls para mas ma-enhance yung reflection ng ilaw. Reduce energy consumption. Use lights efficiently. Use sunlight. Use natural light. Use LED lamp kasi mas efficient siya. And use light sensors. So, we hope that by simply sa simpleng paggamit lang natin ng ilaw or ng mga appliances, we practice energy or we practice efficient consumption. Na gumagamit tayo ng energy kasi hindi naman natin maaalis yung pangangailangan natin ng electricity or ng energy, pero sana ay maging sustainable and maging efficient yung paggamit natin. Kasi again, yung crisis, yung environmental challenges na meron tayo, ay hindi naman na natin yan maaalis. What can we do is to lessen the effect that it can bring to our environment. And that can be done, mababawasan lang naman natin yun, if we will practice sustainable use of energy or if we will practice its efficient use. So, sana even in your industry, kindly practice efficient and sustainable use of energy. Kasi, again, tayo lang din naman yung makakaranas ng epekto nito in the long run. So, that is all for ito lang ba yung, I think hindi ko na-copy lahat ng references. So, that's all for our lecture for this asynchronous class. And thank you very much for listening. Again, I will be giving you an asynchronous activity, which will be the center of our discussion on our next online meeting. So that is all. And thank you very much for your time and listening to this video recorded lecture.